to get started with the meeting. Flag salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go ahead
Way
and
over there.
Start with Randy.
Sure.
Randy, we'll go ahead and turn it over to you. Review the burn ban.
Good morning. I was contacted this morning by Matthew Both, part of the Fire Chiefs Association. He said their general consensus about the burn ban is to leave it on until tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock and then to remove it because they're anticipating rain from according to the weather forecast. The other part of the weather forecast that he didn't mention to is all the additional wind coming along with it. Wind dries out rain, and then you're back to dry grass again. My recommendation is to review this again Monday, because this is not the typical burn season for agriculture, so it's just folks burning trash and piles right now. They could probably wait for 3 or 4 more days until we get through it, because this weekend the wind's supposed to pick up once again. And I believe that it would be in the best interest of the county to wait until Monday, then review it and see what the weather would look like. And if we did really get the rain that we've been promised.
Yeah, my personal opinion is to wait till Monday and see if moisture does materialize.
Isn't after the weekend, didn't I see Channel 12, didn't I see clear sky for a few days or something?
Yes, that's what I saw as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully next week things will look a little better for folks. And like I said, it's not the typical burn season, so we're not slowing down any farmers and taking care of their agricultural responsibilities.
I agree.
Consensus?
Yeah, to me
Wait
it
till
is.
Monday.
Randy's recommendation is to wait till Monday. I'm gonna go with that.
That's what I agree also.
Okay. All right, Randy, we'll wait till
And as I
Monday.
said earlier, when you weren't here, this is probably the reason why they had the rift between the fire chiefs and him doing his job. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Not good.
All right, have a great weekend. Your holiday. Thank you.
Okay, Patty.
All right, so the first thing that we have is the sales tax. The sales tax is in and it's $67,079. And then we have the payday warrants, and you have the report in your packet, and we also have a paper one here, if anyone needs to come through that. And the payroll board is here with all the pay information, and the grand total payday figure is $1,002,542.58, and of that, $519,379.70 is payroll.
Any questions so far?
On the sales tax, there's nothing, man, I see it's down for the year, so there's really nothing the commission can do about that.
No.
It's actually up
It's-
for the year. It's up
Last
by
year.
5,000 according to last year.
Well, overall, we're slightly above.
Yeah,
Well, actually,
Depends on how December goes.
Yeah.
We might
Yeah.
end up close.
there's a good chance we'll be up.
last year was higher than typical. If you look at 2017, you could see we're higher than that. Last year, I believe, was higher than typical because they were building a wind project, and we had a lot of
We had
extra
construction.
people in the county spending money, so,
Pay sales tax.
yes.
As you sit here and watch these projects come in and out of our county, this reflects it, a lot of it. You can probably go back in when the oil deal went through the county 10 years ago.
2013.
No, that's been 10 years.
10 years ago. But anyway, you could just see it in there. Plus, there was some other pipe sales went towards our county, I guess, cost. It was about
We had one month that was a really good month. for
Yeah,
that
yeah.
project.
It was, that's what I was wondering, in 2013, January.
Yeah, that's the one.
Just curious.
That's the one.
That's
Yeah,
what,
yeah, that was one I'm referring to, yeah. But it's, do something with the sales and tax, pipeline tax or something like that. I don't know exactly what it was.
So
I need to check these formula on here too, because that over-under, I'm not sure if that's pulling the right numbers, but if you look at the entire year,
Yeah, it's gonna
you
be
know,
close.
yeah,
even.
right.
There's
So
5
what-
months of them, 4 months down.
What was the reason for the January 13th?
There was, due to some of the legislation or something, we got an extra tax on property, on something, that's when we, I don't remember all.
That
the-
was something on the, I believe on Keystone.
Yeah.
It was because of where some of their items potentially were stored at the time.
Store
I'm not
bought or
sure.
something, yeah, so.
Do you know
But
when-
anyway.
Do you know when their tax exemption is up?
Should be coming up soon, maybe next year. I haven't researched that recently.
That'll be pretty quick.
As you look over the whole picture right there, I see you can take any number of years that you want and you have your highs and your lows.
Yes, yes.
And the only other thing that stands out to me at a glance is last year you had 4 months to where, you know, up into the 75,000, 72,000. So you actually had an increase of about $10,000, $12,000 overall. So, I mean, increases are great, but I mean, to me, it's nothing to write home about. I mean,
Well, I was just explaining that the reason was
Well, yeah,
because of extra people.
I understand that, but I sure wish that the extra people would bring in the same as the January 2013.
That was it, yeah, it would be
That was
nice to
awesome.
have that all the time, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that would be
And I don't
substantial.
know whether any of the, like last year's, the 70s that you're seeing up there,
Mhm, mhm.
whether any of that was due to the sale of some of the towers. I mean, any of the towers' product sales tax coming back here. Don't know.
And one of the things that I would say that we also have to consider, some of that, and you'll notice, some of that too is like harvest. Farmers, you know, they have certain times of the year when they sell their crops and things like that.
No sales tax on that.
Should be.
Well, no, but then
taxes
they
in.
take that money and make purchases, is what I'm saying, which increases the sales.
Of course,
No, I
around
know
harvest
there's no
time, you
tax
always
on the
have
farmer stuff, I'm talking
uptick
about.
in parts,
But you
part
understand that
sales
now,
and
never
fuel
mind.
Yes, I do.
sales.
No,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Tax exemption.
Okay, so if you want to review the payroll warrant, payday warrants, and then if you have questions, let me know, and if you, then when everyone is comfortable, there's paperwork to sign here.
I make one recommendation.
Few questions.
That the final page, the review page, that we put up at the top, especially for somebody like me that is a little new, it's nice to have, I can see all the funds and not
The
try to
last
diagnose.
page up to the top of the report.
Yeah, because I spent quite a bit of time trying to, like, to detect what fund this was and what
Okay.
fund this was, and then I
And
finally got to the bottom and I was like,
This
oh.
page at the front, Jonah?
No.
The very
No,
last.
I'm just saying to you, this page at the front
okay.
is a summary of all of that, that we put on at the very beginning of it, and it shows you all that information that's at the back of that report.
Okay.
But, I mean, we can put that,
I don't want to complicate things too much.
well, no, I don't know if you noticed, but this has all the funds on it and the dollars for each fund.
Right.
And it also breaks out county general into the departments. So there's no reason we can't put that last page of the big report second, right after this one, if that helps you.
If you look
So-
under the description.
I'm sure as time goes by, it probably won't be an issue. It's just brand new, you know, I knew general fund is always one. I mean, that's
Mhm.
pretty well typical of everywhere. And seeing budgets, but then budgets are only relative in dollars, they're not relative in funds.
And then something to look at here on this summary report that we prepare, where it says county general, it has the fund
Yeah.
number behind it. Jail sales tax, concealed carry, all this has the actual fund number listed
Right.
for you, so.
And if you look under the detailed listing under the description, that first word would tell you what departments that's coming out of.
But yeah, it's real easy, it would be real easy for
Yeah.
us to put that last page first on this report, that's not a problem, so,
It was just,
Yeah.
it would have sped me up last night.
okay.
We'll get up to speed in a hurry.
And then I got down to the bottom and I was like, oh,
There it is.
yeah. I said this whole time, like,
You always read the last
Well,
page
and,
first.
and he was having computer troubles too.
yeah, I was
for a
having,
while,
I
so.
couldn't get my email to work, I couldn't get my extender to work.
So I do have a question, and this is under the health department, and this is just kind of a funny phrase to me, and that is there was 2 expenditures on there for $539.20 each, and it says health throws, and I think of a throw as a little blankie on the couch.
Mhm.
And so, is that
Which page is that on?
page 14? So I'm just
Okay.
wondering
Let me look.
what that was.
We can pull the invoice for that.
I was just wondering what those throws, if they were
But it
raffle
probably-
gifts or something. I mean, I don't know.
Let's see what it says.
Okay.
Because that's purchased out of a grant fund, and so I don't know what, I mean, it's very possible that's what you said.
It could be, it might be throws.
Good ones.
That they have like
Well,
emergency.
maybe you know
emergency
what it
blankets.
is. It was purchased from you. Western?
Was it?
Yeah.
You sell throws?
This is
Uh-huh.
actually something that we were kind of questioning anyway. It's for tablecloths and apparently for like when they go out and about. But the description said, throws on it, but that's what, so that was what we entered, but they,
The-
Tablecloths that the health department takes out when they set up.
And they have their names on, like, go to conventions and trade shows.
Okay, oh, I
they're
see.
like embroidered.
Okay, so
There's screens on there.
right here and up here.
Okay.
So that was actually split between grant and, regular health department.
Okay, but then for tablecloths, 2 tablecloths?
Total maybe
Four.
four.
Well, no, I meant each $539 just for 2
Right,
tablecloths.
yes.
But they must, I assume they're large or something.
And they cover 8-foot tables on all 4 sides.
I was just, well, like I said, it just looked kind of odd to me.
Yep.
Complement
It's an unusual expense, definitely.
I've got a couple of unusual ones too, maybe you can't answer.
Okay.
Under the attorneys, at what point do, I've noticed we have body transits. At what point is the county responsible for body transit?
All of them. Whenever there's death and then they take over and they want to have it.
Autopsy.
You know what?
Autopsy.
Yes, yeah.
If it's an autopsy, that's
Yes.
what, I guess that was my
Yes.
question,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought, well, that's kind of unusual, but that was in the back of my mind if it had to be transported for an autopsy.
Then
And
there's
they're
a
pretty
list
expensive. There are not that many that do it, and it's very expensive.
of- Yeah, and there's a list of things that the sheriff and them, whenever they have a scene, certain scenes, that just, they have to, it's required, that's part of the sheriff's job to do that.
Okay. And on page 2, under the courthouse, is that the annual maintenance fee on the elevator?
The $7,000, yes, it is. And then we also had a 500 and some odd, which is for the fire alarm maintenance on the elevator.
Okay. Is that,
So it's expensive to maintain that.
is there other companies that do that could ever be bid out? Or is that the company that actually installed it probably?
I believe that's the company that installed it. We could probably look into that. I know that the elevator is getting aged, and there are some things on it that probably need to be updated. So that will likely be an expense coming up, you
So
know,
if
a
that's
pretty
an
large
expense,
expense.
then
at some
we
point.
could-
Yeah,
We could bid the,
the maintenance.
well, if we have to do work on it or do major repairs, could that be bid out, which would include a new maintenance agreement? You know, if say
I
we
understand
need
what you're asking.
$5,000 worth of repairs on it, could we put a bid out for the repairs and annual maintenance?
I could check into it. I'm
But-
not an expert on
Yeah, I know,
elevator
I know, that's why I said some of these
It'd be
might
two-
not be able to,
It'd be 2 bids, wouldn't
but, you know, it's,
Well, yeah, it would be separate.
yeah.
I think you probably could bid out the maintenance contract.
I mean, I don't know, it seems expensive to me, but,
It is expensive,
you know.
yeah.
What, you done again?
Yeah, well, I've got a couple more.
Oh, go ahead.
On page 25, that JB tank, is that one from that rail company, is that one of that Road and Bridge uses for the bridge repairs?
I've got a half.
It was $15,000.
Yes,
But I don't know if
that
that's the
would-
name on it or not.
Let me go to that page.
On page 25, it is
Yeah,
railroad
25.
yard. It says railroad yard.
Railroad yard,
Yeah.
that's the tank
Yes,
company. yes.
$11,495.
Railroad tank, yep, that's who they use.
Yes. I can pull that invoice if you'd like to look at it.
Well, I thought that's probably what it was, but I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, let me just grab that, but I'm fairly certain.
Okay.
Yeah. We have purchased several of those from that company to
Yeah.
use, and it's usually a half tanker, and it's
Yeah,
used for.
cut them in half and you use them for a bridge.
And that is. It's at the very back of this. Here's that invoice if you want to look at it.
Yeah. That's what it is. Anybody else need to look at that? You guys know what we're talking about? Sometimes we have a bridge go out, this company in Stillwater, Oklahoma. They take tanker cars and they split them in half and put the ends in, bridge in, the.
Abutments, like bridge.
Yeah.
Between abutments.
And we can set those right in for a whole lot less than we can build a concrete structure. And I don't know, we've done 4 or 5 of those around the county. And they seem to work pretty well.
Or the whole tank car, if it's a big enough deal.
Yeah,
They'll set,
where you could
cut
put
the ends
2 of
off,
them.
yeah, and then set the whole tank car through.
For a
Yeah.
wide road.
There's 2 of them south of Peabody on the Country Club Bridge down there.
Does anybody else need to look at the invoice or want to? Okay. Any others?
Okay. And my last one is that bill from KSN for the tourism.
That's the one you approved
Yeah.
for when Tammy Enzi was here, so that's paid out of the transient guest tax.
How much good do we get out of that, do you know? I mean, how often does that get to run?
I don't remember what her proposal was. She had brought a proposal in from the Marion merchants.
Yeah,
about
I
that.
remember it. Yeah, I just wondered what kind of bang for the buck we've got for that.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen Marion on it
Oh, okay.
2 or 3 times, but I don't know if I've ever seen Hillsborough or Peabody.
Well,
Hillsborough has
it
their
wasn't, I don't believe it
It was only
wasn't to
4
include them. It was, they had proposed it just for Marion businesses.
Yeah, because it was like 15,000 total or something, wasn't it?
There was a brochure and then the advertisements, so.
That is something that I have on my screen here looking at, and I missed Tammy's deal, I think, but I'm not for sure. But anyway,
No, you were here.
okay.
You were here.
I think I remember some of it, but anyway, what I'm getting at is this kind of stuff, the transient gas tax used to be by economic development. And so, you know, we had a gallant try to put a good board together, and there was a good board. They got chastised quite a bit. So, as the future goes, there is groups out here that will do that, like Tammy and them are doing right now. But as we sit here as a group, we're north, south, east, and west of Marion County, and maybe all groups ought to get together and have a board for something to this effect, either some sort of economic development board or something to this effect. I'm just throwing it out there because, however, there's Hillsborough, Marion, both have that. Your B&Bs, they pay a gas tax, I believe.
That's where this comes from. is
Yes,
from
and that's where
the
this money
hotels, and
comes from. And so,
it has to be a certain size to, I believe, to
is that what it
owe
is?
that.
Yeah.
Or be able to
But I'm just throwing it out to, especially we have 2 new commissioners sitting here, and just get that in your mind of what's fair to Marion County people. So that's what we're after, to represent Marion County. Even though each towns do have their own thing to draw, so just throwing it out there. Good thing you brought it up, Ken. That was on mine too.
Yeah, the 2 towns, Marion and Hillsborough, are meeting together. The Merchants Association's meeting with some group in Hillsborough. I mean, there's talking to each other.
And that's good.
I'm like you, I think that should have been for the whole county, not just
Well, it's,
the town.
it's good for our
Yeah,
county.
it was presented that way,
Yes,
and one of the reasons that I think the board approved it at that time was because that particular establishment that was requesting on behalf of Marion and surrounding area merchants is probably the one that has generated the majority of the funds in there. The board also authorized the different communities around the county to utilize a certain amount of that money in 2019 for their hometown festivals and different things, and we had pretty good participation on that, so. And then, you know, as you move forward, I had met with Anthony Roy and Randy Collett, the two economic development directors in the county, about trying to develop a set of standards to where that money could be applied for the board to adopt, or whether the board wants to appoint a group to disperse that out. But that is not, I mean, that hasn't been done, and so that's something that we could work on.
Well, I sure, I could, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go first, you start.
On top of what Randy had said, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have a thought about collaboration with all the cities once a year, twice a year, to when the county commission, you know, and just, I don't know how you do that with the open meetings, you know?
It'd be an open meeting.
Yeah, but I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing that we all kind of get on the same page and go for the same direction, and maybe we wind up with a board out of that kind of has a direction and a vision to go to.
Would you, I mean, we can certainly schedule some things into the new year as far as work sessions and different types of meetings, and whether you invite people from the communities into your regular meeting, or whether the board is willing to have some meetings in the different communities over a period of weeks and develop that. We could
Personally, I'd like to move it around.
Yeah,
and
I
do
think
it.
that's fair to
At
everybody.
least
if we
maybe
move
try to do it
around.
twice a year,
Yeah.
and
And keep it like coming to the commission. Yeah, I'm just afraid if you organize a simple group, I don't want to see the little towns being.
no, that's what I said.
Because that's what will happen ultimately,
we
that's
could-
the way they.
We could have a meeting in Tampa, we could have a meeting in
No,
Gulf.
I'm not saying the meeting place here
There
is
are
fine,
groups-
I'm just
No, we
saying,
certainly, we want to try to get,
when you have the money
Everybody
being
involved.
dispersed like we did this last time, I was very comfortable with it because every single little town had the opportunity to present their program. It seems like every town has one at some point in time, and everybody had the opportunity to participate.
Yeah.
And I like that. You get a group of people, and I realize Hillsborough and Marion are the predominant cities here, but I don't want, I would be fearful that would kind of overshadow the littler people in towns, and I just want to make sure that doesn't happen.
the big thing to a meeting like that, rather than just sitting there talking, it'd be kind of nice, I think, if you could come up with some really strong points of interest, and then maybe like break out into some focal groups, and then everybody bring their ideas back together 45 minutes later or something like that, and kind of have somebody, you know, keep track of
Bullet points, make sure.
yeah, bullet points. You know, because I'm afraid if we all just get together, it might end up being a gripe session rather than a constructive session.
You know, and I guess it's about like at our, well, everybody, was you all there the day that we had the speaker at the commission at Wichita?
The guy that take the questions from the floor.
No, this is the guy that.
Which one?
That's the guy that.
Oh, yeah, okay, so he was the motivational. speaker.
Motivational speaker.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
what I'm getting at is he was very good at what he did. But there's also, I've been to meetings that's very good at what you just said, Ken, is a speaker that just sort of takes over and breaks us out in those groups, that keeps track of all that kind of stuff so that there is not.
Yeah, and somebody, you know, somebody to record it,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
you know, we got a list here, you know, and we're gonna work on it, we're gonna come back together in 6 months or whatever it is.
I can't think of who the last one that I was meeting where I attended it. They kept us on track. They didn't let Randy Dalkey talk 15 minutes or Diane 30 minutes.
That's not fair.
Oh, okay. But anyway, it kept us on track, and So I would, if somebody knows one, somebody like that, I wouldn't mind paying somebody to do something.
I think
like
if
that.
we had a set of different questions and we broke people out into groups, you know, maybe and then try to come back together and somebody, you know.
And
I guess I'm lost. I mean, I don't understand the direction you're going, because the reason I say I'm lost is the way we did this last year. Okay, so you have the 4th of July is when Ramona does theirs, and that's very important to them. Just like down in Gossel, their tractor fest that they
Yeah,
do
yes,
is
yes.
very important to them.
yes,
And they've been and these standards have already, they've done this all these years. So when we done what we done this summer, I thought it was just kind of the prelude to where the county would take that money and we did equally,
Well,
$1,000 for each.
I don't hear nobody say anything against that,
No,
Diane.
I thought that was great.
But I think what Kent's idea is that it's time, there's 5 of us sitting here, if we go meet with some out in our different parts of our county, maybe you figure just a town up there that maybe will pull in 3 towns together, maybe Florence would pull in Burns, Peabody, or Peabody pull in Florence, Burns, or something to that effect, just for meetings just for ideas, I think is what you're
You
looking
mean
at.
rather than having one corporate meeting
Yeah.
where, you know, it wouldn't matter which district you were from?
No.
We just break people out into different
Yeah.
sections. Okay, here's the things we want
Yeah.
you to discuss and give us some ideas.
Districts.
So you're talking about economic development in general,
Yeah.
not specifically transient guest
Yeah.
tax?
Yeah.
I guess I was along
With
the
this
lines
money
of
available.
countywide, you know, at least getting a few representatives from Florence, a few from Lincolnville, a few from Tampa, and going around the county at different points, once a year, twice a year, whatever, and then just to keep it fair as an influx of bringing people to that town. Maybe
I
spending more
hear what
money.
you're saying, otherwise you might not get anybody from a certain town and
Yeah.
30 from,
But then that gets everybody going in the same direction, you know, it gets everybody.
So do you think, and I mean, this is just a question, so I'll use Lincolnville this time for an example, or even the festivities in Peabody. These people who worked and volunteered to do this all these years, now you're gonna bring somebody in to say, hey, what can we do to help you improve this? Or I mean, you think that's gonna go?
no, I think Randy was just
the direction
talking
like
about
that?
a facilitator to
Facilitator.
keep people kind of on track.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Work together and help build,
Yeah.
kind of like Marion and Florence did with the arts and crafts fair.
So,
They've worked together and they've
I think if we had
built a hell of a machine.
The
I think if we
facilitator
just had an agenda to
pulls in
follow.
what those people said and tell them. That's all they do. They're just a facilitator.
We're gonna have 5 different meetings here.
Well, I think I'm on the page with what you first said, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, you know, to begin with, it's gonna be an experiment, any way you look at it.
Yeah.
But it's an opportunity for people to come in and be positive.
Well,
Yeah.
see, Peabody's gonna come and ask for so much money now that Marion got, so we gotta have some way to divide it up amongst everybody.
I guess I was along the lines of not having the transient tax be part of this at all.
No.
It was
Yeah.
just
Right.
let's.
Just a chance for the commission to go to communities, reach out, see
Yeah.
what their issues are, see
Yeah.
as far as,
Not
maybe
stuff-
see if
not-
there's a way that there are people there that would wanna promote.
Make sure we're in
Not
line.
get the budget, not get the budget involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we've done in the past, before we was 3 commissioners, or before it was 5, is that we have taken our county staff and went to different towns in our north and south and taken them down, and just introduced them to the Gossel, the Ramona, Tampa. We've taken them to, and Florence once. We've went to towns and just, those people don't know some of our people that's way up north or way down south, and they know the courthouse is here, but they come in and pay their taxes and then they leave. And so it's quite fun to take them. Sometimes you only get 5 people there, sometimes you get 15 to 20, but it is fun to do that stuff. So they see that we're not just sitting up here, we're willing to go someplace too.
well, I
It's
apologize.
something to think about, but, you know, looking toward the new year, it'd be nice to come up with a consensus of somehow we can do that.
So I was wrong. I assumed that we were talking transient guest tax, but since that's not what we're talking
No.
about, okay.
We were just talking about,
It's more along the lines of think tank. I think.
yeah, think tank, there you
So back to the warrants, I do have one question.
Okay.
And this is just a question, and I'm assuming, because I see that Road and Bridge is taking advantage of the cold weather gear program, which I'm glad to see that. And you have several of them right at the $100. So I'm assuming that they probably spent a little more than $100 and were paying out what was allocated.
I don't know the answer to that, but
Okay. I mean, it just seemed odd to me.
if they're
that
all
there's
100s, then I
multiple-
would say, yeah, probably
Probably
that's the
so.
case. I haven't seen
go. That's
those
the maximum
individuals.
you pay.
Right.
Right, yeah. So that's what I assumed would probably happen. Okay.
Improvement District 2, which one is that?
That's
Is that
county
County
lake.
Lake.
That's
Right.
county.
And then there's a sewer contractual and a water contractual.
Mhm.
They
for-
have
for
multiple
November.
funds, and we actually we're the bookkeeper for them, but we are not the responsible agency for, they have their own boards, so,
So they approved that.
yes.
And then-
So that
yeah.
comes through the county's books.
It was just kind of
They have they have
vague
several
as far as what
different.
the contract was, so I was.
And Improvement District 1 is the East Shore.
East Shore.
Yeah, and like Improvement 2, they have multiple funds that they
Do we
pay
have-
out of.
A third Improvement District.
Mm-hmm, Pilsen.
Oh, yeah, from when they did their sewer.
Sorry, I just.
No, that's okay.
Trying to make,
That's a good
trying to get up
question.
to speed as
Yeah.
fast as I can.
Yep,
Didn't give us a hand.
No bad questions.
yeah.
And I don't know, when you get into it later, you'll see that all the rural fire districts at one time fell under county commission. But some rural fire districts have their own boards and some don't. But some of the funds is paid directly through here and then others isn't. And so I don't know, through the years, it's got,
There's only a couple of fire districts now that come through the county, and
Yeah, Colfax and Durham,
Yeah. That's what I thought.
I think. I think there's only 2.
I've seen some line charts that are just boggling. Just money here and then it comes back around, goes out there, and comes back in.
Right.
And it's like, everybody's in this pot trying to.
John,
keep up
which
the
particular
service.
page were you questioning on improvement contractual?
It was just, if we don't have anything to say in that, then I just leave it alone. 27 and what was the other one?
Okay, so, on 27, you can see, this is trying to see if it gives you the description of the account, but over on the description, this is out of their water fund, so I2 Water is how we describe that, and then, so the first one is a utility, first 2 are utilities, Josh Inlow is their paid contractual they pay him on a contract, but he does work for them consistently. It's like,
So it's contractor.
yes, yep. And so then, right, and then there's their postage, there's another utility, and then they do a payroll transfer out of this fund to fund their employee, which is Jeannie Wilden. She's the one that does their billing, so.
So then, at the same time, it must be taking care of water and sewer because it's on page 30.
It's split between 2.
Page 30 is the other one.
Between 2 funds, so. Let me find that.
So that I assume that
Yes.
he's got all his own equipment, all his own tools.
Right, and he does all their water and sewer work for
Okay.
them. And that's always split between the 2 funds.
any other questions of Tina on the warrant fund?
And he's issued a 1099 at the end of the year. So. All right, then if, we will need signatures on all this.
Do you have anything else?
Nope. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, I got all the way down to here. Now it's like,
There it
that
is.
simplifies everything.
Yeah.
Because they're all in order.
Live and learn, I guess.
Yeah, next time, it doesn't even have to be at the top, because next
Are
time
you
I'll
sure?
just go, I'll go right to the bottom. I can look at that and then go back. Whether
Okay.
it's-
Oh, yeah,
Whether it's,
Dave,
she gave you.
I think that we had a pen in there. No?
you can sign in.
just the top.
Mhm. Yeah, we're having to redo all our claim vouchers now to add all the lines.
Meet in the middle.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't have a line item on this one.
Just did it, her.
Oh, pass them down. Pin for your orders.
Don't give me any bones.
Huh?
Come on.
Too fat for you?
Too fat for me. I
That's
like
too fat.
Too
I
fat.
gotta have a fine pen.
Oh, yeah, she's pretty picky down there.
Yeah, I am. I like to put big numbers in little spaces with a fine point.
Like I say,
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Okay. Ready to move ahead with the department head evaluations.
Can I, if we're gonna do that, may I take your computers?
Yeah.
Do you need the hotspot too?
Probably. I know you don't have one yet. That's something that I kind of wanted to check on. The county does provide a hotspot, has provided a hotspot for all the commissioners in the past. Diane hasn't used hers, I have it back. And the idea is, obviously, you can connect at home when you're at home, but if you're on the road, or if we had a disaster of some kind and you needed access to the internet, then that's the reason that we've had those. So we hadn't had that conversation yet as far as whether that's useful, whether you would want to continue that, or,
It's useful if we have to move a meeting.
you got a
To
hotspot
another
on your
building.
phone.
not everybody does. So if you have the ability already, then you may not need one,
I don't know
but,
if you can kill it or not. Okay, that's what I want to do. Okay.
so I guess I just need to know whether to order additional
Is that
hotspots.
is that a bill as needed, or is that a?
No, it's a monthly
It's a
bill.
monthly bill.
Mhm.
We need to make that decision now, or?
No,
Okay.
but I do want to make sure that we address it.
The only time I've used mine is when, like I said, when we've moved a meeting to the Marion City building or to the high school or wherever it might be,
You
you
got
know.
more than one computer access a hotspot?
I think so, yeah.
And I have one. Maybe we just need one.
I don't know.
It's just the reason that everyone had their own is because of when if you're traveling on your own somewhere, or, and you need access to the packet on the go.
I had,
So,
at the city council, I had multiple occurrences where I was away. I mean, I was in Omaha quite a bit last year and stuff, so, yeah.
So
it
would you
be-
like,
It would be valuable, but.
we're already paying for this one that's just sitting here, so
Okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
give it to you.
There you
Okay?
go.
Every
that okay,
McDonald's,
Diane?
every hotel.
That's fine, it's not mine.
That's what I
It's
did.
just gonna be on occasion, but you know, for somebody like Jonah that's out on
Lives in his
doing
pickup.
good job sites everywhere.
These are
And I
not
have
the
never
newest
used it,
model,
so
I think that.
it should be
Make
I'll
sure
just
new.
put it with this.
Lloyd, make sure it all,
Mhm, yeah.
since it's going to
I
him
do have
anyway.
a copy of it, yes.
And then hopefully he can do this and test.
Okay, out of executive session, no action taken, and I'm gonna move we recession to executive session in order to discuss department head evaluation pursuant under item number 1 for personnel matters of non-elected personnel pursuant to KSA 75-4319B with the commission until 11 o'clock. And we resume into open session. Moved and seconded by Randy this time. All those in favor? Aye.
Yeah, with this. Aye.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Aye.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, out of executive session, no action taken. That was the last item on the agenda, so I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Oh, Tom was here?
I'm gonna start giving.
He doesn't miss a meeting, does he?
Not a lot of them. He's pretty
Watch the
punctual.
film. Well, look there, Rick, you got rabbit ears.
You out there?
No, I saw his name on the list.
Oh, I see, he left.
No, I came to get tags and to say congratulations to the city.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Thank you.
Oh, I wonder.